everybody. Bonjour tout le monde. Thank you for watching the video. I hope that you've enjoyed the transcription, seeing me play it, hearing Marcus play it with the written transcription. And now we've reached the analysis point, so I'd like to talk about a few things that I've learned from checking out this transcription. So first things first, what is it? They're playing on the tune Stablemates, written by Benny Golson. It comes from the record Will Vinson Live at Smalls, a 2012 recording featuring Marcus Gilmore on the drums, Matt Brewer on the bass, Aaron Parks on the piano, Will Vinson on the alto saxophone, and the soloist for the section that I did, Lage Lund, on the guitar. So the first musical thing that I've noticed here is this idea of positioning the hands in a specific way. I've seen Marcus play this way a lot. I've also seen Joel Ross play the drums this way sometimes. So the right hand more or less stays between the ride cymbal and the floor tom, and the left hand stays between the snare drum and the rack tom, almost all the time, with a few exceptions. I've seen people in comments say that the right hand is allergic to the snare drum. It's kind of a funny way of thinking about it. So you're always playing in this position. And the first few bars of the solo are a perfect example of that, the start of the chorus here. Right. Following that rule exactly. So it's really interesting. You can play with that concept in different contexts, in sort of a modern swing context like this. Also more straight ahead, depending how you phrase it, maybe with the hi-hat on 2 and 4, right? Another thing that Marcus does very clearly here is avoiding beat 1 in his phrasing. So the tune that they're playing on is A-B-A in form. The A sections are 14 bars long, and the B section is 8 bars. If we just look at how he ends those 3 sections in the first chorus, so let's see. He has a fill into beat 4, and then he has a fill into beat 3, and then he has a fill into beat 2. So very clearly avoiding beat 1 in all of these cases, right? In fact, the band is playing so much that way, I think if you were to put a big crash cymbal on beat 1, it would almost sound out of place. You know, everybody is sort of phrasing in a way that's not really suggesting beat 1, so Marcus plays that way on the drums. There's beautiful examples in the transcription. I'll see if I can do some playing in 4/4 time, just trying to avoid beat 1, maybe in more of a straight ahead context. Right, so when you play that way, it just sort of suspends the beat a little bit. You hear things as rolling a little more. It's not grounded in the same way that you might hear Philly Joe Jones play in very clear 8-bar phrases, hitting the crash cymbal at the end of the phrases. Right. Even in the case of that, leading into beat 4, but still very clearly emphasizing the start of where that phrase hits. Yeah, so that's something unique. Another technique that Marcus uses in this solo, sort of in the idea of avoiding beat 1, is utilizing this backward swing. So our swing pattern would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Marcus plays a lot, more often maybe 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Right. It flips things around. He often does it in response to the soloist. When the soloist is delaying or anticipating the harmony a little bit, he'll come in with this backwards sort of swing. The first A section of the second chorus is kind of a perfect example of that. I'll just play that much and you can hear how the beat sort of sounds backwards. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So right there. That's 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So interesting, playing the swing backwards. We're always taught not to do that, but in the right context, it's a very hip sound. I like the way that Marcus pulls it off. Okay, perhaps the most noticeable thing is his ride cymbal technique. I've watched a lot of videos of Marcus play. I know that he's using some sort of push-pull thing. I don't necessarily subscribe to that technique myself, but what it allows him to do is to do clusters of 4, 5, 6 notes on the ride cymbal in eighth notes. So he does a lot of playing things like this. Often using the hi-hat to punctuate the start of wherever those groupings are. So technique-wise, there's a million videos on YouTube on how to play that. I'm pretty much using a combination of finger and wrist. Nothing fancy. That's how I play most of the things on the drums. That's me. Okay, and the final thing that I'd like to draw attention to is just Marcus's busy bass drum. Listening to it, to me, this kind of sounds like it's coming out of Jack DeJohnette's playing in sort of the 80s and 90s era is what I'm thinking. Similar to the ride cymbal approach, he's doing a lot of fast clusters of 4 or 5 notes on the bass drum. Right. Technique-wise, there's different options, sort of sliding techniques. I do that sort of depending where it's coming in the phrasing sometimes. Right, you can also just kind of do it all heel up. So whatever works. Actually, the same excerpt that I played a little earlier has a cluster of, let's see, 4 bass drums and then 2 immediately after. So really hip phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's interesting. Up to tempo, that's a blistering spot to play. Super interesting stuff. So I've had fun just messing around with playing with sort of a bass drum focus. You know, let's see if I can do some straight ahead comping, just sort of thinking about leading from the bass drum. Interesting. It definitely pushes me in some different directions that I might not have done otherwise. Marcus is a real master of technique. I mean, he has unbelievable hand technique, unbelievable foot technique, unbelievable coordination. Those who are really into him know that he'll sometimes flip the kit around to be left-handed and play. He sounds pretty much the exact same, playing everything completely backwards, which is unbelievable. So I've gotten a lot from checking this solo out, and I hope that you've gotten a lot from hearing me talk about it. Before I close up, just the one last thing. You've been listening to this brand new ride cymbal that I got. This is from Funch Cymbals. Lage Funch is a beautiful cymbal smith based in Copenhagen. For my money, these are some of the best cymbals on the market. This is his 20-inch over-hammered ride, which I put 3 rivets into. I think it's really beautiful. I encourage you to check out his stuff. He's at Funch_Cymbals. It's a beautiful cymbal. It does have a bell, but it's next to being a flat ride. It has a super low profile, and the bell is very mellow. Also, what's really interesting, I think this is the only cymbal I've ever played where the sweet spot is actually very close to the edge, all the way down here. That's where you get the definition. To go in the standard sweet spot, sort of halfway between the bell and the edge, it's actually pretty washy. That's not really the spot. Down here. All right, well, that's all that I've got for you today. I hope that you've enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions. If you'd like the written transcription, get in touch. You can comment, you can email, you can find my website. You can find my social media at Jacob Wetsky. Any of those ways will work, and we'll get the ball rolling. Let me know if you have any requests, and thank you again for watching. Take care.